Welcome back, everyone. We're joined by the newest member of Vulcan, Bloodwater, and it seems like it has really pushed Vulcan to that next step they needed in this game. Do you feel like you were able to control it as much as you wanted?
I felt like we were able to control a lot of situations throughout the game, and I just felt really confident.
Talking about situations you were able to control, I want to ask about that level 1 team fight. It seems so well coordinated. How much of that was planned out by you guys?
I was actually, TSM usually does this in scrims. They try to get the jungler to help Darius push out the lane, and then they have Darius base. And the funny thing is, Darius actually got a bit low through that push, so I just made the shout out to like just go on him and try to kill him. And we had no idea Karthus was level 6, and it just happened, so we got first blood.
I give you guys a little more credit. I was like, yeah, they had Karthus do the Wolves level 1. He got level 6 because when Reggie wasn't in lane, they didn't even see. It's nice to see that was just fortune, but I've got another question for you about the team in general. How has everybody taken to following your shot calls? Because when you interject something like that, it's a really big part of the team, and sometimes people don't trust you.
When I first joined this team, I actually scrimmed with them yesterday. There's not really a shot caller, so basically I'm the person that has to do it, and it's just, I feel like it's really easy because the team actually listens to me. So I feel like I can actually be the leader of this team.
So coming in with that aspect, how much research did you have to do yourself? We've never seen Psycho Sid play Vladimir top, at least in the LCS. Is that something because of you coming on and composition you said we could try, or how did you feel about the team?
Definitely not. The team actually had the composition planned before I even came along. Okay. And the plan was just to play Vlad against Shen just because it's like it's a farm fest and Vlad outscores Shen.
So I was also talking a lot about how you, on GGU, were 3-0 against Vulcan. So it seemed like you would know their weaknesses coming in. Were there any things that you had a list of coming into the team, like, guys, you need to fix this and this and this?
Not yet.
Not really?
Because I've only had 1 day to scrim with them. But I'm sure as we do scrim more in the future, I'm going to come up with some things that I can suggest to them.
So at the end of the game, we saw that you guys were about 15,000 gold up, and we've asked a lot of people. I kind of asked you before, and you said yes, but we've asked people before, did you know you were up so much? And you said yes, and that happened at the Dragon fight. Why?
Well, I knew we were up by a lot because Dragon fights can be a huge turning point in almost all the games, and we did ace them that Dragon fight, and then we straight rushed to Baron. We got the Baron. That's just a lot of. That's a huge gold lead increase.
So you've been in the LCS for a while now. I just want to ask you, what is your favorite part?
Definitely the food. I like coming in here. There's free food, and the people are really nice to talk to, and it's my favorite place to be in.
Absolutely. So talking about your favorite place to be in, support. Was it always your role, and what coins you as a support player?
I actually mained AD, but I switched out to playing support. And what I think makes me a really good support player is that I know when to play passive and when to play aggressive. I know when to make certain plays within the lane and outside of laning phases.
Are you planning on moving into the house with all the Vulcan guys? Because it seems like you guys have already melded pretty well. Do you think you'll be able to go over to that house pretty easily?
I'm definitely looking forward to moving in the Vulcan house. They're really great guys. We got along really well, and I'm looking forward to playing with them.
One thing everybody always has to think about, or we think about on the outside, is when a support and a new AD carry mesh. How is that with Zuna?
I feel like I sort of have to lead Zuna because that's just how I feel with him. You know, I've played with a lot of ADs in the past, and judging by the certain type of his certain playstyle, I just decide what to do with him and how to deal with him in lane, basically.
All right, right on. Well, Bloodwater, congratulations on the match. You guys had the momentum and definitely deserved the game. And good luck with the new roster. I'm Vulcan. All right, everyone, so now it's time for our final match of the day, MRN versus Complexity. While everyone talks about Lauda Mortis, many of the teams consider Nick Wu to be the primary threat.
Personally, I could be a little biased, it's my little brother, but I really think that Nick Wu is the backbone of Complexity.
I think MRN has to realize that there are more threats on the team than just Nick Wu.
Banning maybe Zed for Nick Wu is a good choice, but I feel like their entire team's actually playing really well.
They usually try to ban Zed on me. I don't think they can shut me down anymore. I have diversified my champion pool. I don't think it's that simple anymore.
It's pretty crazy what they've been improving on over the past couple of weeks.
I think we can just outplay individually and as a team, and then we'll get a victory.
This is the third week in a row that MRN and Complexity will duke it out on the Rift. And while MRN owned every lane on their way to winning the first match, it's Nick Wu and Complexity who completely dominated last week's showdown.
He was really able to just bully his lane early game. On Rumble, he won top 7-2 and 17.
Yeah.
Just a really strong champion for him because he likes that early aggressive playstyle. And then that rolled them into late game where their AoE team comp just carried them through. They were being engaged upon 4 versus 5 multiple times, and they still would end up winning the team fights.
Absolutely. And Complexity is coming off a big win today against Counterlogic Gaming thanks to some great plays by their newest team member, Prolly.
Prolly was really, really strong in those games. He got a double kill in the level 1 battle, and then he went 5-2 and 14 as Ziggs. And we haven't seen Ziggs a lot in the LCS at all. I mean, that was probably the first time that we've seen him. Yeah, he's also a very happy guy, as you see there, always smiling.
Absolutely. So many jovial members in the LCS. It's so much fun. And you know one of the cool things I like? That's exactly how you use Karth Assault right there. So one of the coolest things I like to see, or just hear at least, is that you know, they can come up here and these guys are pros, right? You throw anything at them, they can cancel it out. They can usually adapt, and they're like, you know, playing things like Ziggs and crap that people haven't seen throws them off.
Yeah,
and that's so great.
That's like Ziggs' biggest strength is that people haven't seen him. That was a good point. I like that one a lot.
Absolutely. But now it's time to take a look at today's lineups. On the blue team, we have MRN, Mega Zero in the top, Claky D in jungle, Echo in mid, Niantanso on AD, and Heartbeat at support.
And on the red side, it's Complexity. Nick Wu up top, Lotta Morris in the jungler, Prolly now at mid, Brunch U on AD, and MIA supporting.
But before we get into the match, let's take a look at the voting results from LowlySports.com. According to the votes, 71% of you guys have picked MRN to walk away with the win.
Ooh, pretty bold right there, considering they are 1-1, and all these teams that have been switching out players have been doing really well. Prolly performed. I think that he might be able to perform again. If they go 2-0 with a new member today, Complexity, I think that will just revitalize the entire team. Their confidence was pretty low, being at the bottom of the standings. This could be exactly what they need at the perfect timing because we're coming up very close to those relegation matches where they might have to face off against some challenger teams.
You know, something we've kind of pointed out on the side with talking about it, just not directly, is how, you know, not jaded these teams are, but thrown off by coming into a week saying, you know, it's going to be this person and this person mid. It's going to be, you know, Trooper's going to play these things. It's Prolly. And now, are they really going to focus a ban on Ziggs because he can do something just as good?
Yeah, I don't think you focus any bans on Prolly because he plays pretty much any champion in the middle. They'll probably shy away from that, but it's a good point that when you add a new person to your roster, not only does it make it weird for your team to play, but teams playing against you are like, what to expect? Well, I don't know what to do against this. This is completely new. TSM said when I had the early interview with them about playing Vulcan, they're like, yeah, we planned out against Muffin QT. We're like, oh yeah, Muffin, it's a play style that they were able to research, and then they bring in Bloodwater and everything's changed. And they're like, oh, this is completely new. And you can see right there, completely threw them off. Vulcan having a huge shot caller like that really, really surprised TSM.
And it's crazy to see that one thing like that can bring unity to a team. We heard back in the day, back to CLG roots, when nobody was really the shot caller and everybody would kind of yell. You know, they still had structure and they were still a team, but that's how they did it. But once teams started to create structure, once they started to call those strats and realize let's time these objectives and harass the other team, it's become what we have today. All out, sometimes 60-minute battles or a complete thwarting of whatever strategy you thought you brought to the table. You have a 20-minute surrender.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I believe it was at Dallas when the international matches were up. I was worried for the North American teams, especially going into like the All-Star game, because the Korean teams and the Chinese teams will plan out their game plans at 20 minutes. They know exactly what they're doing, exactly what they're going for. That right there is the face of someone who has planned out their game thoroughly. Absolutely. He knows what he's doing at 30 minutes in easily. Absolutely. I'm going for the Rammus to the Dragon.
And that's what you do. Some of this is that mental preparation.
Yeah, you definitely have to have your strategies and what objectives you value more than others. We've seen so many games come down to these base races or these trades. Do you want to go for Baron? Do you want to trade that Baron for a side inhibitor? Do you want to trade that for a middle inhibitor? Because those are completely different.
Well, they're doing the wave, but they're missing one. It looks like Niantanso may have fallen into the toilet. He is getting himself back and into the game here. They were waiting for that fifth, but he seems to be lagging a bit.
There's the side guns down there from Echo. Always happy to see Echo smiling because we rarely get to see that. He's always sick. He's always got his head in the restroom. As
I think we can bring that down to we're happy to see Echo.
Yeah, exactly. He's here. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely, and he looks like he's in great health as well. Claky D there, and this is that game we were talking about, the BFFs in the LCS. This is Nick Wu and Claky D.
Claky D going with the side ghetto style. That's actually very dangerous to shoot a gun like that because
thank you.
The shell will pop out of the gun and hit you in the face.
Oh no!
I saw it there.
That's like a curling iron burn or something. Man,
that'll
that'll take you out of the day.
Want that to happen.
Absolutely.
So any wannabe gangsters out there, don't actually aim your gun like that.
There you go. See, from a real
Claky, especially
real
you.
Gangster.
We don't want any injuries to Claky or any of the other members of Team Marn.
All right, so let's see what these guys have for champion select, and let's see what shots will be fired here in picks and bans.
Nice. Freak would be proud. Going up against Mega Zero, I always expect a Renekton ban, usually followed up by an Aurelia ban. Against Nick Wu, there's the Zed. Oh, this is getting so easy. Just week after week, we're getting into this. Oh, my goodness.
I don't get it. It's like we understand now.
Loudamortis
So the
usually
AoE
draws the
composition getting
Amumu ban.
crushed out. I expect to see Loudamortis on his Cho'Gath this game. We'll have to see what Claky D can bring out. He's more of the tricky junglers. We haven't seen a lot of Vi, but Jarvan's going to be on the plate here.
Yeah, definitely. And Chowster has been returning to that Jarvan over and over.
Yep.
So it was mentioned before that he got one of the to his Demacian Standard where it doesn't apply armor to the whole team anymore, but on the same patch, he got a buff to his Golden Aegis, which is the shield that you get more shield for every enemy player around you when you use it. And it's actually a 50% increase in effectiveness at max rank. So he is actually pretty tanky. It's not the same thing where he makes the whole team tanky,
right?
But his shield got a really big buff, so he didn't get hit too hard in that late game. He's still a fairly versatile melee champion.
Absolutely. And we see Marn with their picks and bans, more the bans since that's the one that happened, banning out that Zyro, which kind of takes that away from Probably and MIA. So with the last ban, they choose to kind of hit two in the teeth there.
Yeah.
The Zed and Amumu, obviously Loudamortis.
MIA actually did have a pretty good Zyra that last game. He flashed over the wall in that level 1 to land in another couple kills. Those extra few kills were all because he followed that up with a flash.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, like you said, probably can use that middle. We saw him use it in the Challenger matches before. Cho'Gath.
Yep.
So that's Loudamortis saying, I'm going to stick with my tanky meta. I'm not trying to play into this new Season 3 meta that everyone's talking about, all the bruisers and all the carry junglers.
Right.
His playstyle is the tanky champion. They're not going to pick it up now, maybe. They'll probably save that for later. They don't feel like someone on Marn will take that away. However, I feel like Mega Zero... Mega would definitely play a Cho'Gath. He's a big fan of lane Cho'Gath.
We haven't seen Echo on really anything but AP mids, so I don't know if he'll take the caster, but you're right. That is a possible switch up for them. But I like Complexity's thinking in that, you know, will you take Cho'Gath? We'll pick our AD and support. Once again, third game in a row this has happened. Yeah.
If they do take Cho'Gath, then Loudamortis will play another CC heavy tanky champion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. Blitzcrank being hovered over for a very long time here. It'll be interesting because Heartbeat's pretty new to support role as a whole. We saw him play a really outstanding Janna last week. Props to him for that. It looks like they're going to switch it over and go to Afromu's favorite support, the Lulu.
What a Mega Malphite it looks like, unless that's going to be heading into the jungle or Malphite mid. All the crazy things possibly, man. It's been a long time.
It has. You got to keep your mind open to all the options. These teams are innovative. Come on. But yeah, the Malphite top is pretty likely. The Quinn pick would be very interesting coming from Complexity because Mandatory Cloud tried to use that when Vulcan did their Kennen plus Quinn strategy that they saw from the Chinese.
Quinnen.
The Chinese used it very effectively, using her ultimate to roam.
Yeah.
not quite as effective for Vulcan. They did pick off a few good kills with that Quinn, so nice hover here, but I feel like they're not going to lock that in.
Well, they're definitely not going to play it against a Rise, according to Nightjackie.
Yeah.
Not the matchup that you want to put into that. And yeah, like they said, they're like, you really think, if we really think they're going to pick Cho'Gath and let them have it. But they didn't. They pull it back into the lineup. They also have a Jarvan, though. So
that will be Ladamortis taking Cho'Gath. Pretty good pick for him right there. Now, probably plays a mean Jarvan mid. We could see another heavy AD burst mid. Probably would be bringing it back here. We haven't seen a Jarvan mid in a while, but that's definitely something that he had a lot of fun with back in the day, back in the armor penetration days when everyone was going crazy with black cleavers and stuff.
Wow. So what are they going to pull into here? They themselves banned out Renekton, which kind of adds to not a huge shred comp, but you know what probably would bring to the middle or whatever they could kind of, you know, initiate with here, which they kind of only have catches on. They don't have a full initiator. They have to rate on the Rupture or the Death Sentence, which I think, unless they have the Amumu, is kind of something they put themselves against the wall with a lot, is not having an initiator truly into the fight.
Not having initiator has been really, really bad for a lot of the top teams. Especially like TSM, when they were forced to use Reggie as Diana to go in and then Zanya's.
Right.
Really did not work out for them. They had no hard initiate. So Marn's team comp is so interesting to me because they secured that initiate with the Malphite, and they followed it up with an Eve. Eve and Kha'Zix are very snowbally assassin champions. If they're able to just burst someone down, they can get the reset, and it's going to be interesting to see where each of those champions goes, because Eve can go in the jungle or in the mid lane. Malphite can go in the jungle, in the mid lane, or the top, and Kha'Zix, all three of those as well. So they could switch these up. Right now they're holding on to him, though, and the hover over Rumble would be interesting because Nick Wu has had a very, very strong Rumble. We just mentioned it before we went into Champion Select about how he bullied his top lane with Rumble. He gets it again, and he should also be able to make use of that really long-range ultimate when he goes to his roaming phase. He usually just bullies his lane and immediately goes to roam and help his team, and it's a very good champion for that.
Also good that Equalizer disengage if they need it. They're going to be diving in, Unstoppable Force, Claky D on Kha'Zix, as well as Echo trying to find his way around. And it's going to be interesting to see how he plays, you know, a really, really assassin-y type champion. He's brought out some Ahri, he's brought out some Anivia, and he's more passive in that early part of the game. So I have to see where he puts himself once he possibly wins that mid lane, or is he going to have a hard time against Prolly?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of the Korean and Europeans still using Eve mid. North American has kind of fallen off because of the mana nerf that she received.
We were talking about farming.
And she likes to use her Q for farming a lot. Most of the Koreans in the EU, they've solved that problem by getting an early tier. They like to just rush that tier of the goddess, and it stacks up really quickly on her since you are spamming your Q over and over. They do pull a last-minute switch here. It's going to be Eve in the jungle, Echo with Kha'Zix middle, and Mega Zero taking the Malphite top. So they did try and use the flexibility of those champions at the last second to throw complexity off, and they pulled a last-minute switch here. We're going to have a jungle Evelynn from Claky D. We could see a resurgence of these hyper-aggressive Claky D jungle style that we saw at the very beginning of the LCS.
It would be interesting to see if they have any tricks up their sleeve with a quick level 1 or 2. It's not something we've seen a bit, but these teams are really pulling out some stops with swaps, roster changes, and the champions they're playing this week.
Yeah, the level 1, you have to keep your eyes open level 1 today especially because there's been so much action going on. Let's see how many elixirs we can get. 1, 2, 3 coming out for complexity. Very quick buys for them right there. A lot of Morris actually had to go back, grab an extra potion. So they're spreading out. It looks like it'll be more of a defensive formation for both teams though.
So I was going to say, actually, you say that, I'm still going to ask, is somebody like Eve someone you want to just mana star right in the beginning? Like you said, that mana cost went up. Would it be advantageous for them to go in on this? They have the Rupture, they have a Death Sentence.
Invading on the blue? Invading on the blue, if it was successful, would be really, really good for them. But look at Martin's team. What are they going to lock someone down with if they do an invade? Level 1, they've got Glitter Lance. That's pretty much it, and that's just a slow. So it would actually be fairly dangerous for them to do a level 1 because MIA on that Thresh would be devastating. If he lands a Death Sentence and you have the whole team of complexity there, it would be just really bad news for Marn. So yes, they would love to take that blow away from Evelynn, but it would be super hard for them to do it. And a good flag right there. We do see Prawley on that AD Jarvan middle, so this will be very fun to watch, and we'll have to see if the members of Team MRN are ready for the burst damage of an AD middle Jarvan, because that can be really, really surprising if you haven't played against it in a while. And people just having the feel and being able to judge the damage output of what your champion's going to do plays a huge part. Probably, again, he's using that that aspect of people haven't played against it in a while to his advantage.
And this is really what we were looking for. I was going to say, it's interesting that Complexity is not invading. Louder Mortis playing such blue-heavy junglers knows how important it is to keep this safe. When he's on a Mumu, the team completely puts down a security grid of wards, and they're able to get in. This is what I was talking about, thwarting coL off of that blue unless they can go ahead and just swap these out.
They did bait this, though. Look at this defensive ward, and they kept their AD and support back, so they were expecting every single step of this, and they're going to try and contest both blues.
Oh, they did get coL right under the armor. The golem, the blue buff could go back over. It's going to actually go to MIA in the beginning, and that's going to add so much harass to the bottom lane.
Perfect bait. There's the red elixir we were talking about, so popular with the Koreans. MIA was watching that, and they set this up so perfectly. Hey, we're going to invade your blue. We put an early ward down on our blue. We knew this was going to happen. We left our support and our AD back there. Huge win for Complexity, pulling out the blue steal on both sides. Louder Mortis with his own, or with the enemy's blue as well, so they benefit, and probably able to shove his lane as well.
It probably definitely soaked up some experience. I wasn't seeing if he went straight mid or soaked up some of that from Shogath, Louder Mortis, but he is level 2 and was already harassing out Echo. Actually going for a roam into the jungle already. Damage in the bottom lane is MIA. They are looking to pressure that blue buff and really make it useless for him. Brunch U getting very low. Niantanzo putting himself into the fight. He gets taken down. A kill coming in for Brunch. A level 2 gank from Prowley in mid.
From the middle, Jarvan roams down. This double red elixir lane that Brunch and MIA are running is so aggressive that they just got 2 kills, first blood and the second blood going to them. Niantanzo getting a little bit over aggressive there. It pays for it with his life.
Louder Mortis holding off on that mid, and Prowley and Louder Mortis, like we said, that play together relationship before from Legion, from other teams, and they are covering each other perfectly on this. coL being taken very low, and you can see how much he is struggling with this jungle. He actually has quite a bit of damage to go on the red, and he's going to be backed off.
Oh, that is just the worst feeling as a jungler. Can't quite finish it off.
Man.
His smite down. Now he's going to have to recall, only being level 2. He's really far behind. That's a jungler that you don't want to get behind on. That's reminiscent of the days when people were jungling Alistar. If you got someone like that behind with an unsuccessful gank, it would spell just...
Everybody's level 10, you're like level 5 by that mid part of the game. That used to be torture, and it could happen right now to coL. Like you said, level 2. Just hit level 4 in the top solo lane, so he's going to have to get himself back into the game, and that really creates less pressure on the lanes as well if they know Clake's so far behind, so he almost can't show that level to the other team right now.
Clake had to call Heartbeat in to come and help him jungle. He can't jungle by himself. He needs Lulu to come save him, and Prowley will not hesitate to come invade the jungle either if he does get an advantage on Echo here.
Oh, he pops him up during the jump. He forces the flash. The red buff tick is going to be on. If that rupture hit, it would have been a lot more damage. Good pressure in mid.
So Prowley immediately turns around after they burn the flash. He's like, good job. That's a win for us.
Yeah.
We got a free flash. Louder Mortis sticking around the middle, though, taking his lane tax and shoving it as well.
So already about 1,000 gold lead, 1.3k in favor of Complexity here with those 2 kills at 5 minutes. The lane's quite even on CS. Nick Wu seems to be having a bit better time as the junglers and mids kind of go tit for tat here.
So Niantanzo doing a good job CSing still. Even though that double AD lane going aggressive once again.
Oh, that was great. He condemned him off the Lantern, but he still found it. He got back onto the Lantern. Niantanzo really playing mechanically well. The Brunch U positioning better to put himself in that fight. And they're kind of just going hit for hit here, back and forth. Niantanzo knows. Oh, maybe he doesn't. Now he does.
I was just saying Niantanzo was doing a good job still CSing in that double fort pot lane, but they get another kill, not letting up on the aggression. Looks like Louder Mortis just lanes taxing lane after lane. He just got a couple waves mid, now he gets a couple bottom, return to the jungle, and that's going to be beautiful for him. The fort pot on Brunch U just runs out as well, so that extra 500 gold that they spent for those early kills now is going to be gone.
And this is going to be super strong for Complexity. Sometimes they, would do good in the early game and have some good jungle ganks, but the lanes would be a little bit lacking. If your jungler's getting tax farm and kills and getting into the game, which a lot of Mortis hasn't gotten a kill yet, but they are getting good tax farm, and your lanes win, that's significant.
Some people giving MIA a little flack for missing that backwards flay. I have to say, that is one of the hardest skills in the game to land. I talked to Patoy, who everyone's talking about is one of the best, if not the best, support in North America. He says he barely ever lands that skill. It really is a little bit difficult. You have to aim it, but backwards, so you have to compensate. It's pretty interesting. Definitely go out and practice that if you want to impress all the ladies.
Oh, is that how you do it?
Uh-huh.
Oh man, I've been doing it all wrong. I was growing a beard. A lot of more to shaved tips, so I'm gonna have to follow suit. Looks like we got 45-36 as the CS takes a bit of a roll here. 43-32 in the mid lane. The 46-37 was that top lane. So like we said, if Complexity can go ahead, continue to win these lanes, that fight phase is going to be super strong.
Yep, Mega Zero just using his teleport to go back to lane though, so they aren't going to have that global threat as we see Nick Wu using his ultimate just to shove the lane. Mega Zero's got his ultimate available. It would be nice to get a gank off, but since he doesn't have his teleport, he can't contest this dragon.
Complexity, yeah, that's their name. Complexity once again jotting down in their early game diary. First dragon goes to us, and they have really put a stamp on that so far. 7 minutes, and previously before 6 minutes, they're able to take these dragons out. So again, the gold lead now about 3,000 in favor of Complexity, as they are not showing any signs of stopping here.
The early game just really, really well played from Complexity so far. 3 kills and the free dragon. Now they're just shoving down on this bottom turret as well. They're also winning the turret health game.
Looking at the turret health game, yeah, they're kind of not really taking them, but they are prepping them, and that really is what is going to help after that dragon goes down. Even if you're low health, you can still pressure those objectives. Looks like they are being thwarted off quite a bit. The AD carry lanes 55-59, and it looks like the Vampire Acceptor build is the choice for both of them, as they kind of need to sustain in lane without that healer.
A huge part of this early game domination by Complexity is that they were able to set that Eve behind so much. Usually you have to worry about that jungle Eve, always has to be in the back of your mind, and everyone has to buy a lot of pink wards. Since they counter jungle him so hard and they got the first blood on him, killing him and setting him back, they haven't had to worry about him. Now he's level 6 trying to make a move, but he walks over the one pink ward that he doesn't want to.
Yep, goes for the lane gank. He knows that River has to have so many in it with Complexity doing well. Oh, he gets grabbed out there. They just go for some harass. You can see Brunch was like, I don't even want to shoot. Nice grab. Let's just keep harassing.
Just letting him know, yes, we have a pink ward in there. Don't come back. Echo now.
Oh my gosh, Echo getting caught up in mid. He's definitely not getting any help from the jungle. Great use of the invisibility.
Yeah, good job. He went backwards. Probably wasn't expecting it, but he goes in anyway.
Oh my gosh, probably going so hard. The Ignite's off. He gets out clean.
I told you people don't expect the AD burst from the Jarvan middle because they haven't seen it in a while. He's got that red pot, do 2 Doran's blades. Perfect. I'm going to go tower diving.
That cannot be the case. Like, I haven't seen it in a while. It's such an amazing aspect to see that these players have a hard time adapting to after everything else, Kobe.
They have the same problems that you have.
Same problems that everybody has. They are human and they can falter. Right now, Complexity is kind of showing no falter at 4-0, 3,500 gold in the lead here at 10 minutes. A turret to be going in their favor if Prowley continues this pressure on mid lane. Just see that Claky D can really just tickle him out of the lane.
Not only was he able to kill Kha'Zix, but he's beating Echo just so badly in CS right now. His Jarvan is really dominating that lane completely. There's no saving grace for Echo right now.
Where are they set to go after this? We have Claky D roaming. Like we said, he can barely show himself in these fights being so squishy. They know he's down. He actually went for a Doran's ring within his belt to continue a bit of damage as well as keep his mana up. That mana starvation in the early part of the game, like we said, has been detrimental to their strategy altogether.
So since Complexity were alerted to the level 6 Evelynn, they've put down a lot more pink wards. We see them in the middle here and at top lane. They've been keeping up their vision. All you have to do when you're playing against Evelynn is switch over. Instead of buying green wards, now you have to buy pink ones.
That's true. Costs a little bit more, but
Costs a
some
lot
of the
more.
supports have actually just been buying pink wards anyways, right?
Yeah, and you can see Loudamortis doing his part. They spread out that burden over the whole team. I really like that. Loudamortis buys some, Nick Wu bought one, Crawley's buying some too, so everybody is chipping in for the pink ward purchases.
And really a huge spike of damage in almost every lane coming out, the revolver being finished by Nick Wu, and we go down to the BF swords in both the hands of Prowley and Brunchew.
Returning again, Echo now has to be a little fearful for his life after being burst down like that, because Prowley went back and just bought up straight up BF sword. That is huge on him. He doesn't go with the boots, and then we see Nick Wu in trouble.
Nick Wu just overheated, and it was not with Flame Spitter going. He is in a bad situation right quick, and Claky D gets himself back into the game just a little bit.
One of the best parts of Malphite, he's amazing at setting up lane ganks. They finally get the Evelynn up there, just comes through the lane, doesn't have to worry about pink wards. They set it up perfectly with the Unstoppable Force, and Nick Wu, realizing he's dead, doesn't burn his flash. So at least he still has his cooldown.
Looks like Mega Zero now farming behind the turret. More than happy to do so. Nick Wu, or Loudamortis rather, I should say, coming up here. Looks like he's going to try to put on a little bit of pressure and not let Mega out. That's safe.
Mega able to pick up an early Chalice is actually a really, really good purchase on Malphite, because he loves spamming his spells to CS, and it's just a lot of magic resistance against Rumble early, which is really amazing. It's going to counter those Sork boots that Nick Wu decided to purchase.
That bottom turret getting prepped quite low here. Don't see Dragon just up yet. A good dodge out there by Echo, but like you said, that burst, there was just the Q and that flag toss. We almost have 75% health Echo on Kha'Zix right now. We're going to see this blue go over to Claky D. Most likely he is going to soak that sucker up. Maybe they'll give it to Echo if they want to try to get some ganks going down, but I think they need to get Claky back into this game for the purpose he's trying to play.
Yeah, so he went up top, he was successful. Right now, Claky's got double buffs. He doesn't have his ultimate up, but he should really try. Up, there goes the red. Now he only has blue. Tough break.
Absolutely.
So we have another pause coming out here, and let's take stock. We have a Thresh in this game, so everyone always talking about how NASA stacks up. Yeah. And Veigar stacks up. Thresh stacks up too. He collects souls. He's kind of like Shang Tsung in that way, where after every fatality, he goes and grabs one. He's up to 46 right now, giving him a bonus ability power of 40. And that's also armor as well, so he gets really tanky for a support. That's a lot of armor for a support to have. On top of that, he's also bought a Doran shield. So he's really able to just go in there. When he does land that hook, he's not afraid to just Superman right to your face.
Doran shield is a great buy. We've been noticing it here and there more. It's not too much gold, and it gives you everything you need.
Very, very cost efficient. If you're looking in a high AD lane, then it's a perfect purchase. I think Edward was one of the first in the EU and North American scenes to do it. And then like a lot of people like Crepo were like, oh yeah, that's a really good buy. I looked at the numbers, it's super cost effective. I should do that too when when you're going in an aggressive lane like that and you want to get in there.
Right? It's like Diamond Prox does this, yeah, exactly. Edward does this.
So what have Gambit done today?
Exactly. Guys, right now we're just waiting on a little bit of Neon Tanso, or a little bit of Neon Tanso. We're late now. He's a cute guy. You know, we're waiting for him. His mouse was acting a little sluggish, so they're going to go ahead and get his computer restarted right there. You obviously cannot AD carry with a sluggish mouse.
Obviously not. Heartbeat just cleaning off his keyboard there a little bit as well. All right, so we have Nick Wu and Mega Zero really going even up in that top lane. And it's interesting because those are two very aggressive top lane players that both love to have the solo 1v1 matchups. And on purple side, you usually see people switch to go for the 2v1 lanes because of the golem advantage. But since all that early game stuff where we're going to invade your blue and we're going to ward our blue and counter you and get the first blood, this complexity team, their purple side bot duo didn't have a disadvantage at all. They got first blood out of that, and so they've really been able to just roll that advantage along. And we're seeing this sort of season 2 meta where it's everybody's in their normal quote unquote lanes, and 13 minutes in, no turrets.
Absolutely. From the speediness we've seen of the games today, we're at 5 kills right now. This happened in our first 2 games in a row in the first minute. Literally 5 kills. One was 3-2 and one was 4-1. Right now it's 4-1, like you said, at 13 minutes with no turrets. And both of these teams just kind of, you know, MRN is still with Niantanso. They obviously practice with him a little bit more. So I wouldn't say they're, you know, as a fresh team, they're kind of veteranized with the use of him. But Complexity, these teams that have found the revamped rosters this week are showing spectacular.
Yeah, they look really good. And you can see they were all chuckling there. They're all happy. Even though there's a pause, they're like, that's just fine. We can bask in this. We're winning a game right now. It feels good.
That's right, exactly. And probably there he is, Neil Hamad in mid, and he is making plays already. And that's very strange to, not very strange, but it shows his confidence. It shows the comfort level he brings to play, especially with a different team, because you know, all eyes are on you, whether the community is or the team is watching you, and everything you do is going to be weighed on a lot heavier.
At that level 2, like, he shoved his lane. He was only level 2.
Level 2
he went for an invade. He was going into the jungle looking for Claky on Evelyn. Was able to shove him off the red. Goes down bottom, makes a little appearance down there, semi-gank, but he really has been a strong force for them. We're going to go back into the game pretty soon here. Pause is about to come back off. We'll see if he can continue to dominate his lane.
And we see some movement as everybody continues doing what they were before. We have seen Nick Wu come down from the top, so they may be prepping to pressure out here. Dragon to be coming up within the next few minutes, as we did see that 7-minute Dragon go down. We'll have to see what they choose to do.
So, we talked about how well Complexity did early game. They need to continue to control these objectives like Dragon. You can see Laudamortis really wants it. He's sitting around there. They have it pre-pinked, so they're ready to go when it pops. They already called down Nick Wu, so they want to trade this. They're fine with trading turret damage for the Dragon, and they have to keep up that pressure because they have MRN has Niantanso. He's still CSing really well despite that super aggressive lane down bottom.
Absolutely. As we look at that 132 to 113, those 80 carries actually separated by the kills. 5,000 to 4,300. That 5,000 in favor of Brunch as we see our first turret go down, and Prolly not liking that at all, giving Mega Zero a little bit of his word. He's going to be unstoppable for us out of that. So ulti for an ulti and the summoner.
You can see how much damage Prolly still does to Malphite, though, because Malphite's been building magic resist. He got a Chalice of Harmony because he's been laning against Rumble. As the bottom turret does go down, so they're able to answer it, and now Prolly's shoving this top one, too. He wants to get some damage back, but Claky's there to try and fend him off.
This is still could be a scary fight team coming from MRN here. Once Mega Zero and Echo get ready to jump into the fight, you know, Complexity did have a good laning phase, but can they bring it to the fight phase? Both of these teams love to duke it out. We know Mega Zero is a fighter. We know Nick Wu is a fighter, and these guys haven't even got to their favorite part of the game yet.
Yeah, exactly. Niantanso is still a factor. He's got 143 CS, stacking up his Bloodthirster now. That early completion of a Bloodthirster means that he'll have a power spike in the next minute or so. As soon as that thing is fully stacked up, even though he doesn't have boots, he'll be fine to have a team fight. He can tumble around, continue lifestealing. Complexity don't want to give him that opportunity, though. They take another turret down middle, and they set their sights on top.
And along with that power spike, they did get a tower spike. They take it down, and it is going to be Bloodthirster for both. We actually see this for Brunchu and Niantanso on
There's
that
another
build.
one, too.
Yeah, all of them. Looks like Niantanso is actually going to be backing. He's got the red elixir for any engagements that come up on him. We see regular supports going for the Philo Stones as everybody really just soaking up the jungle experience right now. A push into the top lane as, you know, Brunchu trying to get some more global gold for his team. Complexity doing a great job of wiping out these turrets in the first line.
Anytime you have Caitlyn, tower pressure is a given. So they want to get the last of the outer turrets down and then put themselves into position for the next dragon. Like I said, Laudamortis loves those things. You know he's got that timer down pat in the next 3 minutes or so. He'll want to head back down there. They've got it pinked already, and they're going to keep it pinked. They would really love to finish off the top outer turret first, though.
It would be nice. It's kind of just a thing. 16 minutes in, the pressure onto Mega Zero, but waiting in the wing is going to be Claky D if he's going to come up here on the outside. I think they'll just see him before he gets out, plus the range of Thresh and Caitlyn. They're pretty much safe here, but they are getting focused now from Laudamortis. They think there's been too much time with nothing happening. Mega Zero may be playing a little too safe in telegraphing this.
Yeah, you do have to watch out for that Unstoppable Force plus Evelyn combo that we saw used really effectively on Nick Wu. It could just as easily have the same outcome on Brunch and MIA. Good thing they're sending Loutamortis here, though, because he's a great counter initiator. Cho'Gath has the Rupture, he also has the AoE Silence, and they are able to take the top turret down.
They're sending just about everything and probably actually changing up his pathing there, not feeling completely safe. Unstoppable Force right to the back line, and that's exactly what I said Complexity has to be wary of. They don't have the Nick Wu ult to stop that, but it wouldn't have helped. Can they keep turning it around? You got to deal with Loutamortis and Prowley now, and they are two huge rocks in your face. Yeah, Mega Zero, I'm talking to you. Getting the Lulu ultimate. Looks like he's going to try to get out of this one, and Mega Malphite may just go down. They get a great exhaust there. Heartbeat actually putting out some damage with a Glitter Lance as well. They're able to thwart the final attacks and get out alive. 2-2 on the overall fight.
You saw the power of the AoE combo right there. Unstoppable Force plus Agony's Embrace just destroyed Brunch, completely obliterating him. They're able to trade it 2 for 2 though, because they had Prowley and Loutamortis there to back him up.
Absolutely explosive, but the hope comes when we see, Loutamortis and Prowley living through that fight. Mega Zero and Echo completely obliterated Brunchu and MIA, and they'll be looking to do it consistently. Looks like we have the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith coming out for Evelynn, as well as just the Spirit Stone. Probably going to be held out until we get that Aegis finished into the Bulwark as well for Loutamortis.
And we have Niantanso just continuing to farm. This is exactly what he needs to do. When your team is behind like that and you're on Vayne, you just have to keep on farming, stack up your Bloodthirster, and wait for the team fight that is going to be your opportunity to finish off people and really hunt them down, make use of our passive. You don't want to get in there very early. You want to be on the outskirts, being like double lift, using that tumble to dodge all the skill shots and continuously get your auto attacks off.
Absolutely, and it really makes that Bloodthirster pivotal on Vayne because of the fact that she can condemn, and kite, and roll, and kite. And we, like you said, double lift, and we'll have to see if Niantanso can do it. It's really not a style of play we've seen him been on yet. Usually it's that Caitlyn or something else on the outside, continuously bursting in on the fight with constant shots. 19 minutes in, both teams kind of poise themselves in mid for a fight. 6-3 here, 3-1 turrets in favor of Complexity. Like you said, they dropped the top turret before they really wanted to pressure onto the mid again. But Niantanso is going to be off, so this may be a 5v4, and Marn has to play safe.
Yeah, that dragon fight I was talking about coming up in 30 seconds here. What Marn are going to try and do is the exact same AoE burst where they have Mega Zero and Klakey try and land their combo onto Brunch and whoever's standing next to Brunch, and they want to get Echo the reset with that kill. It's their hope. What Complexity need to do to answer that is have Loutamortis silence Echo. If they're able to lock down Echo with silence and Rupture and some AoE damage, then that will be the perfect counterplay that Complexity needs to pull off so that Echo's just not flying around the entire team fight, sending off all of his Void Spikes and his single target damage.
You see Mega Zero being quite harassy up top, that Chalice to keep him really safe in any situation just like this. He's going to be able to dodge some harpoons out and really steal his movement speed back and continuously throw out spells. So we'll see if he can really give Nick Wu trouble. Like we said, Nick Wu's been the focus, but probably also needs to be a focus. So we'll see how much they put in each section.
It'll be interesting if they actually do send Nick up top, because Nick has nothing to interrupt Mega Zero's teleport with. Right now, Marn could easily force a 4 vs 5.
Well, looks like they may want it. That dragon is live. We are not objective free on the map, and I think you can just see it in the players right now that they are kind of positioning for this. The bottom lane is being pushed, so it's up against the turret. They've drawn Brunch U down as well, so the AD carries are ready for this fight, and you can see everybody's gathering just above dragon.
Marn's still a little bit wary. Echo gets a get shot.
Oh my gosh, you have to remember, if you walk over a ward, the last one is the most likely to get caught. Klakey D, the death sentence going in. Ace in the hole, stopped by Heartbeat. He catches that one for his teammate, and really not too much damage traded in and out. There's some half health bars, but they look confident still.
There's a good job at Complexity right there. They traded for the teleport from Mega Zero. They got that out. They did a lot of burst damage, scared Marn enough that they had to burn that teleport, and they bought Nick Wu time to shove the lane and come down.
Oh, the death sentence misses. There's a lot of Mortis. Will he get a good silence off? 3 of them are silenced as it's going to be Mega Zero diving in, unstoppable force to Lotta Mortis. They shut that down, and Marn has great positioning here, but Brunch Yu has been left to fire away. He's got Nick Wu and MIA to peel right around him. Niantanzo dives back into the fight. Echo from the backside finally to come in, and they just pinch down onto Complexity, finding a double kill here for Niantanzo. A triple kill for Niantanzo, getting swiped up. He will not be able to get the quadrupenta.
That was close. Niantanzo had to go very deep into Complexity's team to finish off Prolly, but then they were able to pull him back out. Echo making a very nice play, jumping in, putting his life on the line to get those void spikes out, and he actually got away with the reset jump. Nick Wu trying to flash and finish him off with the harpoon, but just barely missed it. That's going to mean a dragon for Marn and the turnaround they were looking for.
Marn going to be able to pick this up. We'll see where the gold goes, and they have closed it a little bit more, only sitting back 3,500. This is actually allowing them to complete a lot of items that make those fights a little more favorable for them as well. We do see that we have pickups on Kha'Zix, getting out some damage for themselves. Going over Spirit of the Spectral Wraith is really the only thing. It was more Giant's Belt built in this fight, noticing that they went down really fast, some of the perks.
Yeah, I like how Niantanzo just kept his wits about him, even though the team was losing early, even though his lane was under a lot of pressure with those double Fortitude elixirs. He kept on farming, and then he waited for the team fight where it was his chance to make those plays. And he picked off the people, he hunted them down, got the kills. Now he's got a nice lead to get him back in this. He's the highest CS in the entire game, and now he's got 3 kills on top of that.
We're 22 minutes into this one as Marn gets himself back, and a few resets here as they finish the Bloodthirsters as well. Kind of mirrored on both sides for that AD carry in mid. And we see Niantanzo actually going for the static, putting that split push combo into his kit now. We're going to go ahead and give the rabbit over to Prolly. I like Prolly. He's really building to be in the face of everyone. He got the Ninja Tabi. He's got the Brutalizer to really stack onto that Q as well, shredding the armor. And like you said, people are underestimating his damage.
The thing about Marn's team right now also... Oh, here we go. Prolly's going in for Mega Zero.
Where's the harpoon? One more. We'll probably finally get that. There's the unstoppable force. They locked in Nick Wu. Oh, he hits one. They throw the ultimate. Does he have the scrap shield to get there? He's actually quite hot, and he did overheat. They may not be able to finish this one off if he has the shard to get the movement speed. It's going to be a Q from Prolly if he can get it, and he does finally take down the rock.
Good job of them by not giving up on that. It was a good chase. That also reminded me that this is the patch where we have the change to Rumble's ultimate, where the damage is spread out over time. So it's more important than ever for you to get out of that Rumble ultimate. It doesn't do as much burst damage, but the ticks over time compensate for it. So you have to get out of that as fast as possible. If you're a single person running for your life, though, Mega Zero really had no choices right there. Does get caught out and go down. That's going to cost them a turret. Niantanzo always answering, though.
He is always able to answer, and right now he's saying 40 to 50 CS above everybody in the game. It's going to be close, 3-1-0 to the 3-2-3, but he is sitting there with the most gold, and it's Prolly that is right behind him, making moves for Complexity.
I like how Prolly is always willing to exchange his Cataclysm for Mega Zero's Unstoppable Force too, because Mega Zero's got an extra 40 seconds on his ultimate. So that's a good trade anytime. They can buy a little window of a slight power play right there. Now they didn't really make too much of use of it. Mega Zero still has another 30 seconds left on it though.
We see more damage finally being able to be brought out. Maybe the Ryla's Crystal Scepter here for Claky D so they can keep the chase in the fight. They're going to have Glitterlands. They're going to build that slow into the Eve kit. They're going to have Mega Zero with his, the shards to slow down as well. So they're really kind of building into a sticky late game team comp that just won't let you get away.
Yeah, Claky's building to be another threat on Team Marn because they have that tanky jungler, or the tanky Rockman top, as Mega Zero is building some Sunfire Cape, spell penetration, very classic Malphite build. Claky D is building very offensively, and that's the only thing they're going to lose out on is that Aegis of the Legion and that Locket of the Iron Solari that usually come from the jungler. So the slight advantage Lotta Mortis is bringing to his team is all the AoE defensive stats.
We've seen a lot of times in the past few weeks where gold down did not mean you were going to win the fight. We've seen a lot of these teams out-position in that gold factor for the fight. So we'll have to see if Marn can do that here. They definitely are ready to get in. Malphite back up on the ulti. As they come around the right side, this is going to be just 5-on-5. They're going to see each other coming from this one. Neontanzo's still off on the wing, so he's going to enter the fight late. And Complexity may not take that into consideration here. They throw some cooldowns back and forth. A toll pull onto Mega Zero, but he still has the unstoppable force up. He goes back again to the back line, and Nick Wu actually takes quite a bit of damage. Brunchu forced to get that shield, forced to move himself back as well. Where is Neontanzo? And it looks like he is going to be able to help his team. Coming in from the right side as they now focus Mega Zero, and they're pushing out MIA and Lauda Mortis. The unstoppable force really split that fight up too much, and they were not able to bring it back into Hope's Kobe.
You do not want to pull Mega Zero. That's the one that you don't want to hook. That was just a little unfortunate for them. They end up trading 2 for 1, able to salvage a little bit out of that team fight, but Prawley really did work getting onto Neontanzo, using the Cataclysm, and then flashing out of it to keep him trapped in there. He had to use all of his skills to get away from that Bane, though, because he was ready right on his heels.
Like I said, Martin may be down in gold, but they can still put up these fights. Great engagement there. Like you pointed out, a little bit of a misstep there by MA on that death sentence to start off the matchup. That would have been much better for the AD carry or somebody putting out a whole heck of a lot of damage.
He was aiming for Echo, so that fight would have gone completely different if he had been a little bit to the bottom there and snagged Echo instead. Not too bad for them, as they did come out 2 for 1.
Taking stock of items. That bulwark finish now for Lauda Mortis. They're going to be able to throw back, not throw back, but stop some of that damage coming in. We really haven't seen a Malphite build so much AP. We'll see Dyrus building, but really go straight tank on that with some AP on the runes or masteries to get some extra damage on that penetration. But really coming out very strong. Another threat factor from Mega Zero. We'll have to see if Heartbeat starts to bring out some AP for himself, which MIA is actually not doing this game, and he chose to go for Lucidity Boots.
Now that Prawley doesn't have his flash available, I have to see if they play the team fight the same way during this Dragon engage. Because last time they had Prawley the only member diving onto Neontanzo.
Well, they have to be careful here.
And he had to disengage.
That Smite Feast Cho'Gath is not going to be easy to get by. Probably could get 4 members, and he does right in that. Neontanzo able to get out before it goes down, actually. Brunchu is the focus here. The AD carry is shredded completely. Now onto Lauda Mortis. Can they continue to get these kills? Oh, he misses. Nick Wu uses the Lantern to get away, but they're going to have to split one more time. And Nick Wu still has that turret down bottom. They're all right. Clayky realizes that the turret is there, and they cannot continue to chase because it would be into bad zones.
Yeah, that death sentence would have killed Clayky D right there. If they were able to grab him and hook in the oracles on MIA, would assure that he couldn't get away. But Marn are heading for Baron off of that. There's only 3 members down. Nick Wu still up. MIA still up. Can they make anything happen here?
Marn has had so much pressure on them this game. They didn't have any help from Clayky D in the early game, which really put a lot of pressure on the lanes, and they've shown great. MIA with a good attempt at trying to steal the Baron, but it goes to the smite of Clayky D, and Marn really turns things around, pretty much evening up the gold at 30 minutes.
Their threats just have such high damage for Marn right now. Neontanzo is beastly, and then you have Echo on Kha'Zix. He's built full offense as well. Fully stacked Bloodthirster along with a Brutalizer just means he is shredding through people, and you have to be worried about those resets. At the same time, you're trying to nail down this tumbling Vayne while Neontanzo is using every skill at his disposal to be that slippery damage dealer.
Absolutely, and Mega Zero's ultimates right now are just spot on. Brunchu not having a chance to even move when it happens. The barrier, the right choice for Brunchu because you're not cleansing the pop-up, but he still cannot make it out. The Haunting Guy's finished and then built into the Glacial Shroud, and he even picked up an Elixir, Mega Zero that is, for the damage because he knows it's such an impactful front-end burst.
It's really been a theme in the LCS for the last couple of weeks where the teams with the better hard engage have been the ones just winning the entire game, not just the team fights.
Right, no, yeah.
Because Complexity, what they're relying on right now is Prawley jumping in there first, and he's built damage. There we go. He just finishes the Randuins right now, so he has some survivability, but he was jumping in that Catalysm all by himself. Nick Wu, like I said, the Rumble ultimate changed a little bit, so it's all damage over time now, instead of having a lot of it be that upfront damage, and it just wasn't enough to take down any of the members of Marn. Now that they have Baron buff, they'll be able to shove on this turret pretty easily.
And as we said before, you know, we can't deny it. Jarvan can help initiate for this team. The Rupture can help initiate, but they found themselves now with that having to chase Jarvan, with having to chase Prolly and get into his Cataclysm. And it's almost been a pain for Complexity that they have been so good, because the team can't get to who he Cataclysms.
It's really tough because they don't have very much damage coming down. Mega Zero always stops a lot of the damage. He keeps on hooking Mega Zero. Mega Zero is able to completely just shut down Brunch. Malphite is a great anti-carry. He gets right onto him, deals a ridiculous amount of damage, and is able to slow the attack speed. Even if Brunch is able to get away for a little bit, he won't be able to continually put out that auto attack damage that has made Caitlyn such a threat from the back line.
So Black Cleaver finished on Echo with that Bloodthirster as well. It looks like they're going for a little bit of HP for Neontanto. He feels like he has the damage he wants, really doesn't build any other attack speed. Well, he has the attack speed and crit, I was going to say, on top of that. So he's really relying on the Silver Bolt's damage and just being late game Vayne here. Yeah,
they did hit Ground Slam a little bit, but it still reduces the attack speed by 50% for 3 seconds. So that's huge.
Absolutely. It's something people forget a lot about abilities in the first place, that some reduce attack speed, and it is something that will completely crush you in a fight. 2 and 1 up top for Mega Zero to the 0, 3 and 4 there. Good Rupture kind of thwarts Marn from any real aggression as they come up to this turret. Complexity does have a good bit of siege clear. It's not perfect, but they are able to thwart off any pressure.
And since Neontanto is on Vayne, his attack range fairly short. It's kind of hard for them to actually siege turrets and get those continuous hits on them. What Neontanto will do is get one hit on the turret and then tumble backwards immediately so that he does not get caught out.
That's tricky.
It takes a lot longer that way because he has to get single hits every once in a while.
So you see, head over, see where Neontanto sits on that Baron buff, and actually about to wear off. He's got about 10 seconds on it, so Baron come up with around 3 minutes here. We see Complexity roaming together, and Marn here at 33 minutes has finally taken the gold lead, about $1,000 in their favor. Complexity, they're like, who wants it? Who's going to take it? They actually don't even know right now, which may show a little bit of confusion in the team.
Yeah, they started out so well, executing their early game plan, baiting with that blue, the double Fortitude Elixir bottom, but it's a Caitlyn lane. Caitlyn lanes are supposed to win
Exactly.
Early. So they really have to continue that into the mid game. And now, Marn have pulled ahead in gold. They have 3 gigantic threats on their team. Mega Zero is even a threat in and of himself. He's got plenty of Magic Pen, which works well with his Sunfire Cape as well. And he's just constantly slowing people and continually putting out all that magic damage.
And Neontanto actually going for safety for himself as well, building a Randuin.
Yeah, last time when Double Lift was complaining about the Randuins, I was like, why don't you build one yourself?
Build one yourself.
Looks like Neontanto taking that to heart.
And it really is. You know, teams are considering that. We'll have to see what they do on the Dragon now. Baron, like I said, it's about 2.5 minutes off, or 2 minutes off. I was close. But they're going to go ahead and try for the Dragon here.
So
Not
more
too much.
Free global gold for them.
Right,
They'll gladly take that. They haven't had the gold lead in so long. They're like, yes, now we feel strong. We also have the kill lead. So they're going to shove right up this middle. Both of their side lanes are actually pushing right now. So I don't think, yeah, see, they're sending Lulu off to the side just to put up a few wards over here. He's going to clear out around Baron because of that 1 minute and 30 seconds, like you said, we're waiting on. They're just prepping the next global objective. They don't want to shove in that mid lane. They want to clear out all the minion waves that are shoving on this top.
Looks like we almost have that Rabadon's finished. The needlessly large rod just into the hands of Claky D, so there'll be a spike of power when he gets that. And this game is getting to that phase where it's going to need to happen soon, because the next fight is definitely going to mean some inhibitor turrets if the team can come out with enough HP. And it looks like Complexity has the HP to do something just like that. Caitlyn on the backside doing what she does best, pushing down those turrets. Mega Zero coming in. He doesn't have much to unstoppable force right now. Loud Mortis really just putting himself in a shield spot for the team here. He might go down.
Yeah, Mega Zero's 100% looking for Brunch U to ultimate. He doesn't want to ult anyone else. He does get Loud Mortis though.
Yep, he hits up Loudy. There's the shot from Neontanto, picking himself up into the kill. Probably jumps into the team. He actually gets blasted back there by the Condemn, and he will be finished off. Another third, or another bolt, I should say. There's the double kill coming in. Neontanto looking for another triple kill, his second one of the game now. He will not continue, but he does have the double buffs now.
so fed right now. Niantanto feels really strong. He's going to just shove on this middle turret. There's 3 people down. They could go on the inhibitor turret very easily after this.
That Randuin synergizes with Saint Vayne so well. Her passive, anybody attacking around her for its safety, and he used that in that fight to pretty much pick up that triple kill. 14 to 10 here is the inhibitor taking damage as well as Mega Zero trying to get himself out there. You're a rock, but you cannot take turret shots. And Tato very low as well. If he had his equalizer, this would spell bad news. Can he get the flames for now? Why do you keep turning around? Apply the Rylus. One last shot. Brunch you takes out Clanky. Double kill there. Ace in the hole is not up. It was just recently used.
Great job by Nick Wu, not letting them get out for free. And Brunch following that up, they were able to not only defend the inhibitor turret, but grab 2 kills of their own, and Baron is up right now. They could easily go for a desperate Baron.
Mega Zero just stepped on that trap, giving him complete vision to say, hey, we're nowhere near you for this Baron.
It looks like the only one that would even go over there right now would be Kha'Zix, and he's working on blue, so this could be a free Baron answer. Complexity right back in this game.
Oh my gosh, they are no contest. Like you said, Vayne down in the bottom. Maybe they're okay with this. They know they're low. It would really be a stretch for them to do anything, but that they have to know they made a mistake to be in that position.
MRN did a good job clearing out the wards around Baron before the fight, but they didn't place back wards of their own. They needed fresh ones down. Complexity, good job answering right there. Like I said, Nick Wu and Brunch just got this game right back in their hands.
They will be backing. That Baron puts them at 54,000. Not actually in the lead right now. Still, MRN holds that at 57,000. They just ticked up to it there. 38 minutes into this one, a 14 to 12. These teams giving us a great last matchup here in Week 8 for the day.
We could get to the point where Niantanto actually maxes out on effectiveness. He's got 2,800 gold in his pocket right now, and only 1 more item slot left that he would really want to sell for. So as soon as he gets his last item, you've kind of really hit the ceiling here for MRN, where that's their main AD carry. Like, he's so far ahead right now with the 7 kills and the ridiculous CS. If they cap him out, then Complexity are going to just get stronger and stronger in relative strength. And they're going to have to start giving farm away from Niantanto and let other people pick that up, because everyone else really needs to catch up to his level.
It's a scary part when you get to that, part of the game where you're like, actually, we need to farm that over our AD carry. And we'll have to see how MRN really copes with that. At this point, Complexity is trying to clean up everything on their side of the map before showing pressure to, again, MRN's side. They don't have the wards really. They kind of have that ward holding hands down by the wolf camp on the bottom left side. But other than that, both teams are pretty much blind right now.
Yeah, and we have to remember, Complexity still have not won a decisive team fight, and they're still behind in gold. So even though they have Baron buff right now, they're not going to be able to make much use of it. They're just trying to farm out and close the gap in that gold lead. Right now, MRN are just, okay, you guys, that was a good answer. Good play by you. We're going to wait out that Baron buff, and as soon as we can get another engage, if we Malphite ultimate on top of Brunch U again, we'll be happy to take it.
The ping's going down in the jungle. Mega Zero's ultimate is up. His teleport is down, however. He'll be waiting for that for about another 40 seconds. So this fight, if they win it, isn't going to give him an ability to push. I was trying to check top and bottom if he could get that teleport on and continue to pressure. But right now, they are answering whatever Complexity does. We'll have to see if they can start to dictate if Complexity makes a mistake here.
Another minute left on the Baron butt for Complexity. So they have time to get this turret. And their AD carry is Caitlyn. Plenty of range to siege up turrets. That's fine for them. They'll grab that global gold. They could even swing bottom right now. Bottom lane is actually shoving with minions.
We'll have to see if they do choose to go down. You saw how much harpoon damage just went onto Claky D. So Nick Wu is in fighting style now, right where they want to be. Like I said, this is that favorite part of the game for Mega Zero and Nick Wu. They are ready to fight, and it's exactly what they want to do from the first second. 5-5 in turret, so somebody is looking to gain ground here. Complexity not yet wasting this Baron, but still deciding how to use it. Looks like bottom turret's going to be the first objective.
So they do decide to take that pretty much free. That's going to be the last of their Baron buff given free objectives. And we see Niantanto's last pickup for his last item slot was that Frozen Mallet. So he's really built into a skirmisher. He's got 2 defensive HP items right there, and he can really get into the fray, use that 550 range pretty easily. He's also got stealth from his ultimate every time he tumbles. So he's not afraid to get in the mix of things right here. And it's just going to really be a very convoluted team fight when we see both of these teams emerging.
I gotta say, that 400 CS right now, Niantanso so big, and it puts a smile on my face to see when Vayne builds a Frozen Mallet. Because you usually don't see that, and you're like, wow, this is one of just the most synergizing items. I speed up when I see you, you slow down when I hit you. And it really, you just shake your head when you get hit with that first bullet, because you know you're done.
Yeah, nobody can get away from Niantanso right now except Prawley, because Prawley can do the flag toss and flash. The only way he's getting away is if he uses his summoner also. That he's able to keep Niantanso trapped inside that Cataclysm. That's the only thing that you can keep Niantanso down right now is sticking him inside that Cataclysm and leaving him there.
So it has to really become up to Prawley as well with that Cataclysm, like we were saying before. It can really be used wrong at any time, but when it's this late in the game, a wrong Cataclysm can mean turrets and inhibitors. The fact that everybody's so strong right now. The Rabadons, like you said, that spike of damage now finished up for Claky D on Evelynn. Coming out of the jungle this game as Marn starts to pull out all the stops as they're trying to beat this newly revamped lineup of Complexity with Prawley in mid.
They also have the teleport available on Mega Zero, so Marn have the upper hand. They could start shoving that bottom lane, shoving by itself right now, and if they wanted to send Mega somewhere else, then they could. They would just have to buy time for the engage because Mega Zero, he's their split pusher, but he's also their hard engage. They have to have him being the ones start off the team fights. They can't start off the team fight and have him teleport in a couple seconds later. That could be disastrous.
So quite back and forth here. Baron has gone down for Complexity. They got a turret, and they were just in the mid of Marn. Now Marn in the mid of Complexity, pushing back after the Baron is worn off. Complexity up exactly 1,000 gold now in their favor as this game just wavers continuously back and forth. 42 minutes in, 14 to 12. The next fight could mean a lot. Could mean that inhibitor, could mean that Nexus turret. But look at the HPs, Kobe. Mega Zero is going to have to go down as well as Loud Immortus. And for that to happen, these fights are going to go on good 20 seconds.
Yeah, Marn are not interested in tower diving right now. They just want to shove it up and try and keep their map controlled. They've placed all the wards that they want to. They have plenty of vision inside the jungle of Complexity, and they've got that Oracle so they can continually clear out Baron and force Complexity to come out of their base and fight them on their terms.
We have Loud Immortus moving up in mid, and this is the part where you saw Loud Immortus versus Dignitas when he was on Cho'Gath. He was the one in front of turrets, tanking turrets. He was the one really getting his face in there to initiate for his team. Like we said, that initiation may not be there so strong for the late game. Prawley's Cataclysms are kind of throwing things off if he does them too right or too wrong. It's kind of hard for him right now, and Nick Wu needs to start with that equalizer. So you see the Unstoppable Force being a huge advantage here for Marn.
Marn making a little run towards the middle here. They can shove in with this lane. They do have that siege minion, which helps out a lot. The changes to turrets in 3.5 though made it a little bit harder to take them down, because not only do we increase the damage that turrets do more damage on their first shot, they also do more damage increasing. Every time you attack a champion, it's going to increase by 25% now, whereas it used to only increase by 20%. And they reduce the effectiveness of those siege minions. They take less damage from turrets themselves, and they also do less damage to turrets.
We saw this verbatim versus Dignitas and Curtis, where Dig started to control the game where Curtis went for Baron, but now they meet each other in mid. Deja vu. Mega Zero looking for that ulti. They don't have the damage on Loud Immortus like they did last time. He is completely waiting for that Unstoppable Force. Probably off to the side. If they realize this is a 4v5 quickly, it is going to go quite wrong for Complexity.
A wide open engage like that is what Marn is looking for. They have both Niantanso and Echo on champions that want to go in and then pull back out with their invisibility. Echo using his ultimate and Niantanso using his ultimate as well. They get small bursts of invisibility. They're just going to burn down this Baron so quickly, though. If Loud Immortus doesn't get in there quick, it's going to be gone.
Loud Immortus gets silenced. He gets condemned out. That Baron could go down. It does go to Claky D, and the fight is going to go on. Claky D quite low. He flashes out to get more damage on the back line. It's all into Niantanso. Echo will be the first one to drop there, probably picking up a kill. That blue buff is going to help these guys come out big. Mega Zero picking up one, now 2 for 1 as they are chasing out Marn from this fight. A huge play there for Marn to grab Baron and then have to be chased out. Flash is used, Summoners used, and Complexity has eyes on an inhibitor.
Complexity's front line finally all together. They were able to take down the 2 huge damage dealers from Marn, both Echo and Niantanso. Those invisibilities were not able to make use of their, they are going to take this inhibitor turret, and they're going to follow it up with the inhibitor.
There's quite a few in their face. They don't have Brunchu for that damage, so all of them have to stay in melee range. This could get dangerous. No home guards really coming out, and 30s on the strongest in the death chamber of Echo and Niantanso. So yeah, they are safe.
MegaZero was able to solo Brunch there using his ultimate, but there was no one to defend Niantanso and Echo, and they just got completely crushed. The 4 really bruiser champions here from Complexity actually getting chased out of the turret.
A little too aggressive there, and the turret is what MegaZero needed with his team to continue the fight here. There's going to be the toss. Oh, ClayKD couldn't get onto it, but he hits off that W, tries to break the crowd control. Good swipe back by MIA, and the unstoppable force once again continues to brawl. Like I said, these fights are going on for 20+ seconds. They finally stop out. Good harpoons over the shoulder from Nick Wu.
Complexity bit off way more than they could chew. Should have went home after that middle inhibitor. They were trying to tank another turret, and probably just got shown how squishy he really is.
Just one after the other. All of these teams thinking they can get that last little bit and then getting out by the skin of their teeth. So dangerous, and I see such dangerous play, I should say. 47 minutes in here. Looking, I think, to get our longest game of week 8 in, 17-4. Just about 70,000 gold in the pocket of both of these teams. And the person with the most gold in their backpack is going to be, right now, Niantanso on Bane. He's going to be that queen carry. Looks like he has the composition to do it in his items.
He's so rich that he sold his Frozen Mallet and bought an Infinity Edge instead. He switched out one of his endgame items and purchased that Infinity Edge.
What else would you go for in that build? Would it be a boot sell?
At this point, I would upsell the boots and get a Zephyr. Yeah. It's either that or you need a Guardian Angel. Guardian Angel, really, really strong at this point, because if he does get bursted down like that, then they need him to pop back up. He's got lifesteal. He could actually tumble away. If he's able to make use of that second life, if the rest of his team wasn't destroyed, then a Guardian Angel could be what they need to change the game. If it wasn't Guardian Angel, then it would be that selling boots and buying Zephyr instead.
We'll see what he does. Actually get some boots buy-in coming up. Distortion boots for MegaZero, trying to get those cooldowns for his flash and teleport up as soon as possible. Ryla's as well being built out for ClayKD as they finish. These guys are getting really close, full endgame items. We see the home guards coming out now, since it's going to be really that base save or the rush back to Baron that's going to turn the tide of this game.
Home guard boots really important for both teams right now, since most of the fighting will be very, very crucial. If someone dies, these are the long, long death timers. So as soon as you get back up, you need to get back into the action. And both teams right now really, really cautious. Complexity, they do have the advantage. They've got that middle inhibitor still down, so their lanes are going to passively be pushing, but MRN's still sitting on a couple of Baron buffs, which can change the entire fight. Now that everybody's got max items, the extra advantage is only going to be coming from elixirs and Baron buff.
And really, one of the first games, I mean, he's on Thresh this time, right? So you're not going to build the damage as you come out. But it's one of the first games we've seen a more passive, team-oriented build coming from MIA here. It seems like they are, using that in fights quite a bit. The box has gone down irregularly a few times, but really broke up that fight big time for them last time once he waited for MegaZero to use the ultimate. And I think that was the right choice.
Yeah, this Kindle gem that he's holding onto right now, I'm hoping that he turns that into the Starks and for that life leech aura, because to lock it at this late stage in the game, that shield will not mean anything in a team fight. That's so small. It's kind of nothing in a team fight. But the lifesteal that he would give to both Brawly and Brunchu could be huge.
The Bulwark actually being built by MegaZero here. 3-1 and 12, the top laner, given that role. So these guys are definitely bringing in the money. We see Loudamortis picking it up as usual on the jungler. And a lot of Randuins coming out as well. Like we said, everybody's at that full build. 461 CS right now for Niantanso. Almost unstoppable, and we'll have to see if that's true in this next fight. He's gotten 2 triples. Can he bring out the penta?
Both teams a little indecisive at this point, and that's really forgivable at this point. A 50-minute game, it's not very easy to practice a 50-minute game, because most games don't go to 50 minutes like this so close. Like, you only get these chances every once in a while. It's not like you can go out and start up a fresh game. Oh, we're all going to port in level 18s here with full items and see what happens. They're going to go back to this bottom turret. They actually snuck around and they're going to get it.
This is big, Kobe. It's all about the now. Whether they were big plays earlier that turned the game and brought it to where it is, it doesn't matter. It matters about the next play. There could have been a penta in this game, and it may not have meant anything because what we see next will decide who gets the base. Probably picking up some more resources in the jungle as they deny Marn. But Marn really isn't pressured by this right now. We've seen them come back in these fights and win down in gold. They still sit up in gold right now. Just 8-5 in turrets, so they don't have the pressure or the map presence to get out of their base right now.
What Marn need to do are spread out their threats. They have these 3 really strong threats. They've got Niantanso, Echo, and Flaky. So they want to have those at 3 different points in their team. The worst thing for Marn would be for all of them to, those 3 to be next to each other and get AoE silenced by Loudamoris, and AoE ruptured by Loudamoris, or Cataclysm by Probably, and just keep them all together. So they have to spread out during the team fight, and they have to use their mobility. All of those champions are very mobile. Evelyn's got her speed boost, and then Echo and Niantanso both have those invisibility tumbles that I was talking about. So they have to be able to use their positioning in the next team fight to spread out. Meanwhile, Mega Zero still needs to go with that target. He's got to get on Brunch, shut down his attack speed, and he can basically just solo him as we saw in the last time. That will be fine as long as the rest of the threats are spread out and the same thing doesn't happen to Team Marn.
I feel like this is going to be big, Kobe. 1 second until Baron spawns, and we haven't seen these teams trying to play trick Baron. They're playing, we're doing Baron, and you can fight us while we do it. So this is going to be big. Cleared out Niantanso with an Oracle. He knows he's just trying to be safe in every step he takes on the Rift right now. Echo trying to put out some poke. They're trying to trade back. They grab, but will he go over? MI puts himself right into the fight, locking up Niantanso. The damage can't get to the rest of the fight, but he is slaughtering MIA right now. They're doing a good job at peeling, but where is the focus? Brunch U has already been taken down, which means no AD carry. Echo is the next focus here. Complexity is focusing well, but are they focusing the right amount of damage? Niantanso is still alive, and this could be bad. Nikwu goes Sonya's, and he goes down. Niantanso picks up another kill, now 8-2-3 on the game.
Great job by Marn right there, I guess. Niantanso getting caught out meant that their threats were spread because he was on the complete other side of that fight. And so the box from MIA only affected Niantanso. Niantanso had both him and Nick Wu on him. So it was a 2 versus 1, and Niantanso did fine over there. He was able to survive it. He was able to take the CC, and the rest of the team, Marn, picked up the slack. Claky sacrificed his life. Him and Echo put out enough damage to take down Brunch, and they were able to follow it up, grab that. A 2 for 3 shows just how close this 53-minute game still is.
Absolutely. Like I said, they may have been down in gold. They were up by 1,000 that time, but Marn does have the positioning in these fights. You can see Echo, he actually has a smile on his face. He is just waiting to get back into this game right now, rubbing his hands together. These guys are antsy. They know they have what it takes to win these fights. No vision coming in. That flag toss is going to give them a bit, but it's going to be tough. Baron's at half. They do have Loudamoris on the outside. That flash smite feast, man.
That is a huge amount of damage. They have to be really, really scared of Loudamoris flashing in there. There goes down the flag. This is in the range.
Oh, the unstoppable force coming out. They're going to stop them and try to take out Loudamoris and probably before they can do anything. MIA from the backside. Does he have the box? He throws it around them, but it's not really hitting anybody but his team. Niantanso finally going down there. There's the shutdown to Probably. Very much needed that gold. MIA is going to try to get out as he is just kind of walking around, being a nuisance to Marn. And it looks like Marn may be able to clean up. Nick Wu, can he get the damage down? And he gets shredded by Mega and the team. A double kill coming in, an ace for Marn.
We were just talking about how home guard boots are essential at this point. Echo came in with those blazing at the end of that, able to finish off, completely turn that around. 4 members of Marn still up. They're going to go to end this game. 40-second death timer means you can still hear them yelling over there.
Echo on your screen screaming his face off. They are so happy. And it was a well-fought game by both teams. This was literally anybody's matchup to the last kills.
That was about 7 consecutive yells from Echo. Just outburst after outburst. He was so happy to arrive at that point in the team fight, able to finish it up, clean them off, and the rest of members of Marn all blinking red, barely surviving. Congratulations, a well-deserved win for Team Marn.
Note to self, healthy Echo is louder than Zuna.
Yes. we didn't know that up until this point because he's been sick for so long, but he can really get in there as well.
So they were able to thwart out the complexity composition. Could it, come down to the fact that Jarvan is very strong, does have that AD, but did he not scale hard enough into late game for the damage they needed that, you know, an area of effect AP or AD caster would have brought you?
Complexity as a whole late game in the team fights were lacking a lot of the damage, but MRN just made it look like that because they had 3 very, very effective threats. Their jungler was a full-out damage dealer. Claky built Death Cap. He had Zhanya's. He was building full threat, and so they really had the advantage in the end game damage there. And since so much of it was AOE too, really just steamrolled that.
An absolutely amazing game at the longest of the day, 55 minutes. Baron after Baron. We have a replay of the last team fight that happened just to show that focus and really where MRN put it.
This is all about individual play here. They're so scared of an endgame Cho'Gath with Smite. You have to be. Like, there's nothing else that's going to do more true damage to that. Here goes Mega Zero. He's able to get out loud of Mortis. That's a huge CC used on the tank. They didn't have that CC left for Brunch when Brunch comes in, but since he wasn't there already, doesn't really matter. They're able to take out Niantanso. Huge threat. Right now you can't see it, but from the bottom of your screen, Echo's coming in. He's going to get the reset off of Prawley here, and then just completely obliterate the rest. Whole team goes in. The thing here is that none of MRN backed out. They were all still in that team fight. They were not afraid to sacrifice their lives. At the end game, you all have to be acting as a single unit.
Absolutely.
That's the importance of the shot caller that people are talking about. It's both those level 1s and the very, very end game, the level, the 50 minutes in, where that really, really comes out.
That mentality to stay and fight with your team, it takes a little bit. When you know you're going to go down, just do as much damage as you can, and more times than not, you'll see yourself coming out alive with your team, and that's exactly what they did to take down the Nexus. After the break, we'll talk to Claky D and Niantanso for MRN, and then we'll break down how today's results impact the playoff picture. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the North American LCS live from Los Angeles. I'm Rivington III in the interview lounge, joined by Nian Tanso and Clayky D of MRN. Congratulations on the win. And I got to say, we haven't seen many games that long in the LCS. Yeah. What is it like going past 45 and 50 minutes in a game?
It's extremely stressful because one mistake can just end the whole thing for you. And it especially sucks to lose an extremely long game because we were up most of the game, so it would suck to throw the lead like that. So. Yeah. So
Clayky, coming in as the jungler, kind of the early game, a shot caller, but move maker. Was there any worry now with Prowley in mid and that connection between Loudamortis and him?
Yeah, we were worried. That game, I got pretty shut down at level 1. They 3-man invaded our blue. We went to take theirs. And Nian and Heartbeat did our double golems. Next time, they should just come up to the blue with us and help me secure that. But yeah, I ended up dying at the blue. Didn't get a blue buff as Evelyn jungle, which is really bad. So I got set really far behind. And Prowley is really aggressive, as so is Loudamortis. So I was really worried that they were going to completely shut me down that game.
What was the strategy then once it came to, you saw Prowley completely jumping on Echo and mid and crushing him? We can't get there in time. What do you do at that point when you're like, you just slow down everyone?
I was pretty crushed. Like my morale was pretty low at that point. Nian was the guy that was like, "Come on, man! Like, just keep it together. We can still win this. We're not that bad off." I was like, "All right," and then we just kept it slow. I tried to get the farm in where I could, like do the camps. When Echo had to back, I would take his wave mid, just try to catch up. And I eventually got ahead in levels on Cho'Gath, which is Loudamortis, and then everything just went together and we won.
Yep. And yeah, ahead of Loudamortis on Cho'Gath, you got, needless to say, crushed in the jungle in the early game. How does that feel?
It's like the worst feeling ever. Like, to get crushed at level 1 too. Like, I'm on a blue reliant jungler. They invaded my blue. I went to their blue. I took it, but then I died and used my flash. So I was like, I was in the worst position possible, and I just felt like there was nothing I could do. But I just had to stay in the game and just keep farming, and then eventually things worked out.
Well, absolute props to the play because you persevered and came back hard. Now, Nian Tanso, the Vayne play, absolutely amazing. There were times when you switched up the build, sold the Frozen Mallet just to buy the Infinity Edge. Were you just feeling that comfortable that you really, whatever I buy next kind of doesn't matter point?
Yeah, I trusted my team to pressure them a lot, so I didn't really have that much pressure on me. Like, it was mostly just Jarvan that was going on me, so I figured I could just do more damage and be safe with that. The Randuin's pretty much protected me. All the protection I needed, it gave me, so I just wanted to get some more damage in.
And what were your thoughts on the level 2 Prowley gank down in the bottom lane? I guess it didn't come onto you because you guys had switched, but...
I don't even remember.
Yeah, so you guys were on the bottom lane, so actually, completely invalid question. Great question. But, Clayky D, all right. Coming into this game, you saw Prowley on the other team. Were there strategies guys scrapped up instantly knowing Prowley's strats, or you guys were playing comfort champions for this game?
We didn't necessarily put together a comp for complexity in specific, but we did ban out Zyra, which we know is like one of his comfort champions.
Right.
We know he's a really strong mid player, and we also knew that when they picked Jarvan and already had Cho'Gath, that Jarvan was going to be mid and it was going to be Prowley because we've seen him play Jarvan mid, and his Jarvan mid is really good. And that kind of worried us because Echo's never played that matchup before. There's not that many Jarvan mids. So Echo got a little crushed at the beginning, but he came back as well. And I'm excited. I think Complexity is a much stronger team right now with Prowley.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to you guys. Props to other teams. You guys show great camaraderie in the LCS. We see it here in the studio. We see it out of the studio. Like I said, congratulations. Great AD and jungle play coming back on the eve. Guys, we have a lot more to come from today. Just with the recovery, or just with the cover of the tosses to the replays, it's going to be Jat with Vulcan and TSM. We're going to check out that replay on the day.
Thank you very much, Riv. And this fight had to be covered. Even though there were so many fights in the last Complexity versus MRN game, whenever you have a dragon fight that essentially goes this far in one team's favor, which Vulcan ends up acing them, a lot of things have to happen. So I actually just want to prep the situation a little bit here. We have Dyrus and Psycho Sid up in the top lane, all ready to begin the fight. You have to keep in mind that at the start of this fight, obviously we're pointing at the minimap, way down here as well, Karthus is on the wrong side of Baron for Vulcan, so they have to be very worried about TSM taking the dragon, and this also gives TSM a false sense of confidence because they know they have Dyrus coming into the fight if they want to. That would immediately give them a 5v4, and they also think it's a 3v5 because they don't think Mandatory Cloud is there. So let's roll this clip as we started out. You can see Audwin's getting a little bit low on Dragon. Vulcan's poking around the side. And actually, Zuna gets a little aggressive on Reginald. If we pause it here, you can see that Zuna has already taken a whole bunch of damage for Reginald. Reginald up here, I'm going to use red for TSM, is doing all the damage up here. Wild Turtle is actually already right next to X-Smithy, so he has to be careful. X-Smithy has already missed the hook to start the fight, and the odd one down here wants to initiate in and actually cut off Zuna. So he's going to attempt to do that very soon. Keep in mind, this is only 3 Vulcan team members that are accounted for. So TSM actually feels pretty good right here. Dyrus doesn't think or doesn't get told to ult down, and he doesn't arrive near the fight. And keep that in mind as Zuna gets around really low. So we're actually going to play this fight at half speed to show just how close it is. As Zuna goes back, Audun actually knocks him farther back. And right there, they couldn't close on to Zuna. So if we pause it again here, you can see mandatory clouds, late entrance to the fight, is an absolute decimation of TSM because Reginald up here has used all his cooldowns. Wild Turtle actually missed his ultimate near the start of the fight and has already cleansed off the Wither from Nasus, so the exhaust completely destroys him for mandatory cloud. Special gets stuck in the middle of this, and it's just so crazy because this was essentially 4 people of Vulcan that are completely unaccounted for. They had no answer, TSM did, for X-Smithy in the middle of the fight. And this looks like an absolute mess. So in here, if we keep rolling it at half speed, you get to see how crushed Vulcan is. Watch Reginald's cooldown as well, because Zuna is back near the end of the fight. He blows both spells, which lets Zuna jump on him at the bottom. Finishes off Reginald. At this point, Dyrus ults in late, can have no impact on the fight. Even though it was a 4v4 or 4v5, it doesn't matter. The ultimate comes in from Karthus, the Requiem goes, and they just cleaned up that fight. So in any Dragon situation like that, when someone gets beaten so handily, so many things have to happen. Vulcan played that almost perfectly, and they got lucky in a few situations. But that play in particular, since Vulcan had a late game team comp, really just carried through for the rest of the game for Vulcan, and it allowed them to beat TSM. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jap. Now let's see where the teams stand after today's games. Curse is 15-3, Dignitas 16-5 as they had a bye on the week, TSM 14-7, and CLG 10-11 now.
Then we have Vulcan and MRN, both with wins, bringing them to 8-13, 7-12. GGU and Complexity are still on the bottom at 5-14 and 5-15.
Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow with plenty more LCS action. Up first, TSM looks to bounce back from today's big loss, but they have Curse standing in their way. After that, Vulcan tries to build on today's huge win when they take on Complexity.
Then MRN fights to stay in control of the final playoff spot when they battle GGU. And finally, it's a battle of today's undefeated teams, Curse versus Vulcan.
It all starts tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific, midnight Central European. That's going to do it for us today. I'm Riv, for Kobe, Jat, and the entire live broadcast crew. Thanks for watching.
Walk up right here.
Can he still get the damage? Can it be MIA? MIA! They've saved the Nexus and there's no minions!
Oh my God.
Oh my word, Complexity going. Oh, Nick Wu looking for all the resets right now. Can he get another one? He jumps on, gets the triple kill.
Okay, let's go.
I'm getting caught right now. Peel. I need peel. Come. Rise.
Got him.
Good job.
Bottom.
Reggie's there.
I got Good shit.
Fair. Full control of my emotions right now. That's your boy? That's your boy? Shit's free, son.
Keep pushing.
Keep pushing.